Scotland is home to an incredible range of rare and endangered animals. Between Edinburgh Zoo and the Highland Wildlife Park, over 80 keepers work 365 days a year.
You work on Christmas Day, you work on New Year's Day. The animals don't differentiate between the days.
To ensure that each animal has all that they need.
We budget 50 tonnes of white for our penguins for the year. You do the maths.
Leading the charge in world-renowned conservation for over 100 years. This is more than a full-time job.
We are always on call for emergencies, and they might happen during normal office hours, which is convenient, but often they don't.
This is the best bit, it's so exciting.
You all of a sudden go into stealth mode.
We'll meet the teams carrying out groundbreaking research.
They're incredible. You can see where we came from.
Life-saving operations.
Where's the dramatic music?
And staging landmark events.
Good one.
Vital to the ongoing success of over 3,000 animals, where no job is too big or species too small.
Ow!
I'd rather tackle a rhino than a guinea fowl.
Where no 2 days are the same.
No matter how long you do this job, they still get you right here, you know.
Welcome inside the zoo.
Carry on. Okay.
The Highland Wildlife Park near Aviemore is home to a troop of 40 Japanese macaque monkeys, which have become a firm favourite since their arrival here in 2007. Important figures in Japanese myths and folktales, macaques are the monkey seen in representations of the wise proverb, "See no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil." With 2.5 acres of outside space, they have plenty of opportunity to keep fit and hone their acrobatic skills. It's 7 a.m, and with anything up to 1,500 visitors expected through the gates, Keeper Sophia is making the usual preparations.
They have a beautiful enclosure. It's really nice for them just to have so much space to explore and play. And I've seen the hills in the distance. I'm going to feed them, and then I'll have another good look at them to make sure they're all looking healthy, all limbs are healthy, everything like that.
Macaques are extremely intelligent, but in adulthood are known to be bad-tempered.
They're coming up to breeding season in the next month or so. So as it gets closer to that time, they get a bit more feisty. So these guys can be incredibly dangerous and aggressive. So they do have a few fights every now and then, so it's always good to keep having regular checks of them to make sure there's no bad injuries.
Despite what they might sound like,
people often say it sounds like kittens. It's quite a sweet noise, really.
life in the macaque mob is tightly structured.
This is Cornouge at the front, so he's our dominant male of the group. So they exist in like a hierarchy structure. So a lot of the time in the group, the dominant female kind of rules the roost, and through her daughters, they'll have the kind of hierarchy, and then the males kind of have to fight for the higher positions. So Cornouge is our dominant male, and then we have Angara as our dominant female of the group. Chakar is our lowest ranking male of the group. So if you think about it, others are always kind of unimpressed when he's getting a good part of the food. They're like, no, get away. It's all kind of respect thing. So he'll be filling up his pouches kind of really quickly, getting as much as he can, because he knows at one point someone might chase him off or something like that. So he gets what he can really quickly.
As one of the most agile and dangerous of all species here in the park, every precaution is taken to ensure their and the public's safety.
The monkeys, obviously, they can jump, they can climb, so we need lots of fencing to stop them trying to jump out.
The fencing throughout the park has an electrical current running through it. The strength of the current depends on the size and weight of the animal.
And if it's off, they'll very quickly notice it is as well. They're not silly. So it's 7.5, so that's quite a high reading, so that's plenty.
At Edinburgh Zoo, across the 152 species, from pelicans to primates, the keepers are constantly thinking of new ways to enrich their feeding routines in order to stimulate their minds. One particularly bright bunch in need of mental stimulation are the zoo's 11 meerkats, 5 boys and 6 girls. These little carnivores can be found across Africa, from Botswana to Lesotho, and have a varied diet including scorpions. Incredibly, adult meerkats have evolved an immunity to scorpion venom. Today, the female meerkats are in for a treat, as keeper Michael is about to set up one of their favourite enrichment activities.
These are play balls that we've got, just your normal ball pit balls.
The ball pit helps encourage the meerkat's natural instinct to dig and forage for food.
I've got some mealworms and some black crickets. Some of the favourites. Before I let the meerkats out, I just need to do a quick test of the fence, and then I'll have a quick look around the enclosure, make sure there's nothing obvious that either shouldn't be there or can mean that they can get out, and then that's it. Meerkats can come out and enjoy their ball pit.
While Michael is carefully checking the electric fence, Cheryl Ann and Erica are with the meerkat males to conduct the weekly weigh-in.
And this is their weights from last time?
Yep.
Right.
Hello, everyone. Hi.
If they're decreased in weight, we've got the weights from last time we weighed them just here. So if they're decreased in weight, there might be a underlying health issue there, so we can check that out. If they've gone up in weight, might be to do with their diet.
You got to climb on it.
Target training that the keepers do with the meerkats should make the weighing process that bit easier.
And our target is nothing glamorous, it's actually just a stick with some electrical tape on the end of it. And the idea is that if they touch the end of the stick with their nose, then they'll get some food. The difficult thing with that group of meerkats is trying to get one on the scale at one time.
Go on. Okay. Good boy. 1380 possibly. Do you want to just scan him and double check?
384, yeah, that's him. So what did you say, 1380?
Each meerkat has been microchipped so that they can be identified and all health data can be continually updated.
You come in. Right, we'll try him there first. Good boy. Well done. Right, lovely. About 1540.
1540.
Yeah. Lovely.
So he's down from last time, which is good.
Good.
The oldest male in the group is 13-year-old Ace, who arrived from Cologne Zoo in 2012. The keepers pay particular attention to his diet to manage a slight weight issue.
He's definitely one of the first ones down to the food. The problem with Ace is that he's not as active as his sons are now. And when you watch him, quite often Ace will come and feed, and then he'll just go and sit on a log, maybe do a bit of sunbathing. So I guess it's like anything, you know, if you're just eating and then sitting, then your weight can kind of creep up a little bit.
1430.
1430.
However, weighing meerkats is tricky for two reasons. One is that they don't stay still for long, and two, they aren't particularly distinctive as individuals.
So he was the one who had it.
It's hard to tell apart.
He was the one. I think it was maybe him because he was quite sandy. If you
Right,
scan
okay.
him, see if that's him. We'll weigh the same one 5 times. Get a different reading each time.
It looks like Cheryl Ann and Erica are in for a long morning. Edinburgh Zoo has been home to the Chilean flamingos for over 40 years. Famously, flamingos stand on one leg, as it requires fewer muscles than it does to stand on two. Perfect for grabbing 40 winks. What few people know is that flamingos are an ancient group of birds. Their fossil records date back around 10 million years. The collective term for a group of these extraordinary birds is a flamboyance of flamingos. This one, made up of 27 in total, 12 females and 15 males, is gearing up to welcome some new chicks. And giving away all their secrets is keeper Kirsty.
Our oldest bird is 58. I think it's the same age as my mum. Sorry, mum. They are generally long-lived species. And our youngest little female, she hatched out in 2016.
It's currently breeding season, and given that they haven't had any flamingo chicks born here for over 3 years, Kirsty isn't taking any chances.
I'm just gonna dip my feet before I actually enter the enclosure. It's just good biosecurity to disinfect every time we go into or out of an enclosure. This enclosure is a little bit overgrown just now because we're trying to have as little disruption as possible for them whilst they're nesting and hopefully egg laying. Because they're a large flock species, they tend to just stick together, and us coming into their enclosure, I suppose we are a little bit threatening, so they will just tend to keep out of our way. They're quite anxious, they're a little bit silly, so we really don't want any of these birds to get fractures, so we just have to always be really nice and calm and move them around the enclosure.
Despite being one of the most elegant looking birds on the planet, their preferred living conditions are surprising.
It might look disgusting down here, but this is what flamingos like. This is what they're used to, sort of sandy estuaries. So this is absolutely perfect here for nest building. They'll just pull up some of the substrate onto the nest, and they'll rotate as they do it so that they get a little hollow in the top of the nest. There's this nice little hollow here for where the egg will sit.
Kirsty and the team pull out all the stops to encourage a bumper crop of fresh flamingo eggs, starting with their diet.
This time of year they will be eating extra protein, so we give them extra prawns, extra mussels. The carotenoids in those foods, that also gives them their nice pink colour, so you'll see them looking extra pink this time of year.
Creating the illusion of safety in numbers also plays a huge role.
So we do have some mirrors up in the enclosure and things to help stimulate the breeding behaviour.
These mirrors act to double the size of the group, providing much needed reassurance to these broody but bashful birds. Flamingos flourish in large flocks. In the wild, flamboyances of over 1 million flamingos have been recorded. These extraordinary sights bamboozle predators and make for a safe environment in which to lay eggs. And while flamingos can still be found in great numbers in the wild, their numbers are also in decline.
Something that will be affecting all 6 types of flamingos in the wild, with habitat destruction and changing climates, lack of water, lack of nesting opportunities. So the trend is generally declining, which is not ideal, so that's why we have to keep a reserve population in captivity.
Fortunately, the efforts of the zoo seem to be paying off.
For now, all the behaviours that we're seeing from our birds are really positive. We're seeing a lot of slapping of the water, a lot of head flagging, a lot of aggression between some of our bigger males, and the nest building, which is the most important thing. We haven't seen nests as good as these ones built by the birds in years. So we're really hopeful for some egg laying soon.
And Kirsty has one more trick up her sleeve, should any of the ladies need an extra incentive.
I also have here a dummy egg that we might put on the nest site at some point to help stimulate the egg laying. This has worked really nicely in previous years. Once they see an egg, they think, oh, I want one of those too, and then they tend to pop them out.
And for now, Kirsty will keep popping in to make sure the flamingos have all they need. At the Highland Wildlife Park, the macaque monkeys, known for their strength and aggression, need to be separated for a vital procedure. So the park's main man, Keith Gilchrist, has called for some backup.
We are going down to the Japanese macaque house, and we're going to microchip a few of the youngsters so we can ID them.
Being able to identify each animal accurately is vital for healthcare monitoring throughout the year. Here in the Cairngorms, very few animals make it an easy process, and the macaques are a case in point.
They're up there in levels of strength and aggression. But that's all right. I'll just get the girls to do it.
Today, the team plan to chip 3 of the youngsters, but first things first.
Ratio, the big male, who's apparently quite aggressive, is in here, so I'll have to move him out.
He just doesn't like the keepers at all. We'll just go in, the 2 of us, and we'll just try and push him out.
He seems pretty subdued.
I think it's because you're here. He would not be like that.
Because of my command presence.
Doesn't like men. Come on. Good boy, good boy.
Perhaps distant memories of the chipping process were enough to aid Grayshoe's sharp exit. Now they need to identify the young ones to be chipped.
Out in the paddock,
And then scan
idealing them is quite easy because they're nice and relaxed, but as soon as you try and catch them up, their faces they tighten their face, they'll raise their eyebrows and they'll go into a sort of fear response, so that it makes it harder to ID them just by their facial features. So there's 3 youngsters in here. Oh no, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 2 hiding behind the little curtain. So if we go in and catch them first, and then if you want to come in, Keith, and do the chip, yeah?
Yep.
Okay, flatten it.
With 5 monkeys darting around, it's possible this isn't one of the 3 they need.
Yeah, so it's got a chip.
Yep.
So yeah, we don't want the big one if we can avoid it.
Oh. We want the wee one.
Want the wee one, yeah.
The speed with which Keith expertly catches the first of the unchipped monkeys helps keep any stress on the animal to a minimum. Then keeper Mark steps in to net another.
Good catch, Mark.
Okay.
Once secured, the monkeys are passed next door for chipping.
Feel for where his shoulder blades meet.
Yep.
Yep, and then just pull the skin up right there as much as you can.
Yeah.
Yep. There you go.
So 8676 is Ishin. Just look at the door.
There you go.
So that's 2 down and 1 to go. Sophia's going to be netting her first macaque, which should be more straightforward as it's the only one in this holding area.
So she should be easy if you just... That's it.
Well done.
You're a little bit lighter than I thought.
So
I thought it'd be probably heavy.
In here. And then push up a little bit more. Just so they can't turn their head and bite. Okay?
Yeah, that's fine. I'd never caught a Japanese macaque before, and obviously, you know, you're a bit nervous that you might get bit by one or something like that. But I had caught capuchin monkeys before, also squirrel monkeys at Edinburgh Zoo. So I had a bit of experience with catching monkeys, but it's always, you know, you're a bit curious how a different species might react. Well done, monkey.
And give it a quick scan.
All right. Oh.
0031.
Whee! And with that, the 3 youngsters have been successfully chipped.
So we had 3 babies from last year to do. The reason we don't catch them up when they're really just newborn or a couple of months old is because they're still really attached to their mum, so it's really difficult to get them separate from their mum. Yeah. So we wait until they're about a year to 18 months and then we'll catch them up because they'll come in on their own, they're quite confident. So yeah, 3 from last year, and then there was 1 that evaded us the year before, so we got him as well. So yeah, a successful day.
And after their morning was so rudely interrupted by the keepers, the youngsters get back down to monkey business. At Edinburgh Zoo, in the male meerkat enclosure, Cheryl Ann and Erica have spent the morning carefully weighing and identifying the 5 boys housed here, which has been a challenge.
Right, last one. Phew! Right, come on, quick. All the others are distracted. Good boy. Yeah, he's about 1/630. Okay.
Right, okay, yeah.
Whew.
Got them all, well done. That was excellent.
With everyone's weight where it should be, it's clear that the lads are thriving. The 6 girls, however, just want to have fun. And Michael's now got his ball pit enrichment extravaganza set up.
They're having a great time, having a good rummage around in the balls there. We've got another one as well who's on watch, so it's a natural thing to avoid any predation. But yeah, they're doing exactly what I thought they'd do, playing in the balls. There's going to be balls everywhere for when I go and pick them up later on. I'm going to be digging them out of tubes and everything, so it's good to see that they're enjoying it, and you know, that's what it's all about. It's for them, so.
If only this female knew that she could have skipped her shift as lookout, given that there's probably no safer place to be than the ball pit. And after what has been a fun-filled feeding frenzy for the meerkats, Michael's last job of the day is less enriching.
I don't think you realise how many balls there are in here until you have to scoop them out.
The rare and endangered Queensland koalas have been adored by visitors to the zoo for over a decade. They're also one of the reasons coming to work is a joy for keeper Kirsty.
Now, normally I like to skip to work after. Skip.
Koalas are one of my favourite animals. They're very complex, but they're fascinating to work with, and they are hilarious.
Edinburgh Zoo's success in having the only resident family of Queensland koalas in the UK is testament to the excellent care they receive on a daily basis.
It feels like you know those really fluffy pillows that you have, kind of like that, just really soft. Oh.
18-year-old Gunaroo, whose name is Aboriginal for wood duck, has already sired 3 offspring.
He's a bit old now. He's still got it in him though. But yeah, he's not as sprightly as he used to be, but he's still a good man, aren't you?
Though koalas mating is a fraught affair.
People think koala mating is this cute little thing, but it's vicious. We need to be there with gloves on to pull them apart when it's finished.
His mate Alinga has a new 3-month-old Joey, though it's the couple's 1-year-old daughter Kolari who's been causing concern, as she appears to have something wrong with her right eye. So, Vet Adam has been called.
The joy of working in a zoo is the diversity of the different animals that I get to work with. They all represent lots of different challenges from a veterinary point of view. And I think Edinburgh particularly has a really diverse collection of different species that you don't find in other captive collections, which for me is great. It's a constant challenge. She's been pretty calm on there, as long as she's not going to do a flying jump.
No, she doesn't really do that.
Oh, I'm just looking. I think what that is ringworm, which they're pretty prone to, and it's quite common in captive and wild koalas. To be honest, it's a common infection in a lot of species, but it does seem that marsupials are particularly susceptible to the infection. What just worries me slightly is it's really close to the eyelid margin, and it just looks like it's maybe slightly rubbing on the eye.
And there's a chance, if left untreated, Kolari could make matters worse.
So if she's rubbing at that area, she's going to rub the eye and potentially cause damage to the eye as well.
It's vital at this stage to assess how much damage has already been done.
If I just put some stain in there, and we'll just check that there isn't any ulceration on the eye to start with as well.
It's alright.
Right, calm.
Okay. Adam can't chance leaving her eye the way it is.
I think because it's so close to that eye, we will probably give you some antifungal cream, which is basically athlete's foot cream. The agent that causes ringworm, which is something called a dermatophyte, it lives in the environment, and typically in koalas it's thought to pass from mother to Joey, which is what we think probably happened with Kolari, as her mother had ringworm in the past as well. Okay, she can go back to mum.
Oh dear. Are you alright holding her still?
Yeah, she's alright.
Okay.
Oh, she's such a good girl. There you go. Okay, darling. It's all right. I hate doing stuff like that. You feel very protective over them, especially in these kind of situations where the animals seem a bit freaked out and stressed. You just want to explain to them sometimes that it's just a quick thing. If I just do this, then you'll be fine again and you can just go on back to your life and just be happy.
Applying the antifungal cream is made a lot easier because of the bond that Kirsty has with Kalari.
Such a good girl.
They are pretty used to us touching them. We just keep them used to being touched and held just to keep them in that habit. We don't like to do it unnecessarily, we only do it when we need to, just to make sure that if we do need to put any cream on them or we need to give them any treatment, we are able to do that, because if we're not able to do that, it stresses them out more.
Kirsty will repeat the application of fungal cream every day for a week, which should stop Kalari from scratching it and making it worse.
No, you're a good girl.
Among the 30 species at the Highland Wildlife Park live a herd of Himalayan tahr, a relation of the wild goat. Specially adapted to life in the harsh conditions of the mountain slopes of the Himalaya, the Scottish Highlands are a good fit for this herd. Today, vet Kirsten has been called to check on one of the calves.
We're going to go and examine one of the baby tahr. I saw her last week. She was limping on one of her back legs, and it was kind of sticking out at a funny angle. So we caught her up and had a feel of the leg, and there had been a fracture kind of midway up her leg, just above her hock joint. Young animals are really good at healing bone, and they're still growing, so they're able to heal really quickly.
Because calves' growth plates, the layer of growing tissue near the end of a bone, are still soft, they will often form a callus around a fracture, which will allow it to heal. However, it became clear to Keeper Connor that the condition of the calf's leg was beginning to worsen, and so at this stage, Kirsten has to intervene.
There might have been some nerve damage or potentially even another break as well. So we're going to go and catch her up and then have a little feel and see what's going on.
This is the one with the bad foot. See the darker one?
She's just doing exactly what you were describing, and she's putting weight on it, but sort of at an angle. We'll have to catch her to have a feel, yeah. It's probably going to be one of two things. Either it's going to be like a functional change, like if the bone has healed at an angle where she now has to weight bear there, or if there's nerve damage.
We determine which one it is.
We catch her up, and you can kind of do testing to see if she can feel, if she's got sensation in that foot. Right. But if there isn't the nerve function there, then we'll have to put her to sleep.
It's difficult news for headkeeper Mo and the team.
I'll get the girls to go over the fence and stand by.
But they need to catch the lamb sooner rather than later so Kirsten can do the necessary checks.
So a couple of yous walk in here and a couple of us walk in the top, yeah? Where is she? She's there, she's here. There. Well done.
Now that keeper Andy has a firm hold of the lamb, covering her eyes helps keep the calf calm.
We're just testing for a withdrawal reflex, so I'm pinching really hard behind the heel.
Ordinarily, this would result in the animal sharply pulling its leg back.
I think she can feel me ever so slightly, but it's definitely reduced. It's not a normal.
So does that suggest nerve damage?
I think there has been some. If these nerves run down these parts of the leg, so if they've been involved in the break, that could be where they've been damaged.
In some cases, it's possible to put a small plaster cast on an injured animal's leg.
We can cast this, but a cast would need to stay on for at least 2 to 4 weeks at this age. My main concern now is that she's knuckling. This is how she's putting weight on her leg, so she risks traumatising this part of her foot as well.
Knuckling is when an animal that's injured a leg bends its toe and relies on the joint above, which is impossible to put right.
I don't think she's going to be a good candidate to recover from this. I think even if we even if the nerve recovers, there's still this issue here, which the bigger she gets, the less likely she is to cope with it. My gut instinct is that we should be putting her to sleep. And it's her that we have to think of here. I know it's just, yeah, it's horrible. But I don't think she's going to recover from this.
Yeah, where should we?
Should we take her down to the, down to the vet room maybe? I'm so sorry. Poor wee soul. One of the tough things about this job is that I wanted to be a vet because I just loved animals. I wanted to be surrounded by them all the time. But the tough thing is that we're most often dealing with animals that aren't well, and then having to make potentially tough decisions about their future. And it's always sad to see an animal that's suffering or in pain. But yeah, we just try to always act with them and their best interests at heart as our priority.
Tars can live for up to 21 years in captivity, and so putting a lamb down is felt acutely among the staff here. Kirsten will carry out an autopsy to further understand the extent of the damage to the leg. Among the animals in the Edinburgh Zoo collection are 2 giant anteaters, a male, Lucifer, and female, Nala. Native to Central and South America, they're part of the European Endangered Species Programme. The pair have been here for 11 years, and today they're being looked after by senior keeper Andrew.
So this is the anteater house. It is in the middle of being cleaned, but this is sort of a nocturnal house, so we've got the sort of darkened lights with a bit of a red filter on them for the benefit of the animals, who are currently sleeping. So one of the more obscure species we work with. I think they're brilliant animals.
These mainly nocturnal, sleepy-looking giants may appear harmless, but Andrew needs to be vigilant.
They are potentially very dangerous. I may be able to see that she actually walks on her knuckles, and that's just to help keep her claws nice and sharp. So it's a species we don't go directly in with. I'll never go any closer than that with her. Because these animals, because of these sharp claws that they've got, they could potentially do you a lot of damage.
Lucifer and Nala each weigh in at around the 40-kilo mark, and they have huge appetites.
We can't provide enough ants to feed a giant anteater, let alone 2. They eat hundreds of thousands in a day, potentially.
In the wild, anteaters work a system, so they're never short of a meal.
They're quite eco-friendly in a way. They'll never destroy a whole colony, so they'll feed off several different mounds, and they'll never decimate one to the sense that they can't recover, because otherwise they're doing themselves out of food in the long term, and they'll come back to revisit that mound later in life. We've got no way of breeding ants in that scale. I don't think it's probably possible in a captive setting. So for that reason, we need this alternative diet.
Every day, the keepers prepare a special recipe to meet all the nutritional needs of an anteater.
Here we have some apples, pears, bananas and tomatoes. We're going to blend up these shrimps into a powder. I've already got some oats and dog biscuits that have been pre-powdered, and I've weighed that out. And then we'll add in some ox heart and some eggs and some hot water, some honey, and that will be a nice, delicious anteater food. We found they've actually taken to this really nicely. They really enjoy it. It seems to just work for them.
Anteaters have no teeth, but their sticky tongues, which can flick in and out 150 times a minute to collect insects, are an impressive 60 centimetres long.
It's important that we get all the skin off these fruits, because if you try and feed an anteater something like that, it could potentially get wrapped around its tongue. So yeah, the preparation for this can take a bit of time, but it's all for a good cause. I'm just going to grab a couple of eggs. That's the final ingredient. So it's really just like a smoothie. We've got a very high-tech measuring implement in the shape of a spatula spoon, and we just spin it out, so it's just like a porridgey gruel, but these guys quite enjoy it, and they just use their big long tongues and they lap it up. And we've obviously seen that she's up and she's looking for food, so she's hungry, and we'll see if Lucifer gets up as well.
With dinner preparations complete, Andrew must now serve with caution.
So when I'm opening this door, I've always got my foot here, and that's just in case the anteater's right behind the door and is extra enthusiastic and wants to push. You've got a wee nose there. Hello. Come on then, sweetheart. There we go. It's a good girl. Female likes to get her feet in. The end result is dinner for an anteater. Yeah, Mama.
And for the duo's dessert, Andrew has prepared another mixture rich in vitamin K, which helps with bone strength.
Is that tasty? Good girl. Good all. You stay there, buddy. It's fine. It's spoiling.
In the Highlands, having taken the tough decision to put down the tar lamb, vet Kirsten is carrying out a routine autopsy on the animal. This provides an opportunity to examine the calf's damaged leg and also check for the presence of threats, like viruses and infections that could affect the herd or the other animals in the park.
Just removing the skin so that we can get into the chest cavity. So we'll look at all the major organs and then take samples from all the ones that we need. So the lungs look nice and healthy. Something that you can see in these young lambs is a pneumonia process, which can sometimes cause some kind of stunting. What we're really screening for is kind of any disease process in any of the organs. Grossly, I can't see any problems with any of them, but you can. That's the beauty of sending them away to the lab. Is any kind of microscopic damage anywhere will be picked up. We're especially at risk here of tick-borne disease because of the huge tick burden, so we can screen for that as well. We're a high-risk area for Lyme disease. With climate change, more and more diseases that were once thought of as exotic, so they tend to occur in warmer places, are now kind of creeping up towards the Highlands as well.
The samples from the autopsy will be sent to the RZSS Wild Genes Lab in Edinburgh for analysis. Located on the Edinburgh Zoo site, it's one of only a handful of genetics labs in the world that's based in a zoo environment.
That really gives us a unique perspective in terms of working with captive zoo animals and gaining genetic information from them that can then be used to aid conservation in the wild.
The focus is on gathering quality genetic sample material from a diverse range of species, including the tar lamb. Samples can range from bone and soft tissue right down to faeces. And this internationally renowned lab is bursting with cutting-edge technology.
We have centrifuges. You see Jenny is just about to run something on it. So this basically just spins down our DNA samples or any of the reagents that we're working with. So it's at the bottom of the tube, and then we can just pipette the liquid off of the top. We have a range of different species that we work on. These are antelope ones here. So we have, for example, addax. So this is critically endangered. It went extinct in the wild and has just been reintroduced recently. We do a lot of different extraction protocols because when you're working with all kinds of samples, you need to do something slightly different to get the DNA out of them. So depending on whether it's blood, whether it's tissue, whether it's bone, it's all a slightly different process. And so to have all this equipment to help us with that is fundamental.
At the wildlife park, Kirsten's been able to see from the autopsy that her decision to put the lamb down was the right one.
The break was what I expected, but what was really remarkable was the overreaction of the bone trying to heal itself, which we could feel when she was alive. When we examined her, we could feel a real thickening around the joint, but seeing it actually below and looking at the overgrowth of the bone and the trauma and weakness because of it, I think really does confirm at least that we made the right decision for her.
Euthanizing any animal is never taken lightly and is only ever done when there is no chance of a full recovery. The autopsy gives the park a chance to manage any underlying parasites at work here. Thankfully, the rest of the tar herd are all fit and healthy. It's been a week since treatment of the ringworm near Kalari's right eye started.
Hello.
And Vet Adam is back to check on progress.
Okay. Hello, you.
Yeah, that bit just needs to fall off.
It does, doesn't it? A little tiny crust there. But yeah, it looks really good. Although it's a bit dramatically bald, it looks really good. There's nothing extending on the edges of it. It just needs the hair to come back in now. And it's starting to regrow in there. It's so good. Usually ringworm is a self-limiting infection, so it just goes away naturally on its own, and it isn't usually much of a problem at all. But in this particular case, we did start treatment to try and make it go away a bit quicker than it would normally. That little crusty bit, I don't think I would worry too much about. I think that all looks fine. Cool, great, that worked really well.
The swift actions of the team here means the ringworm is clearing up nicely, and Kalari can get back to what is every koala's favourite pastime. Between the Highland Wildlife Park and Edinburgh Zoo, there's a whopping 50 distinct bird species. And from guinea fowl to lorikeets, senior keeper Sean usually has them eating out of his hands. Though Sean's knack of getting on with tricky birds doesn't extend to the 6-foot southern cassowary.
Very aggressive species. They certainly have their favourite keepers of who they like and who they don't. I'm one of those they don't like. And I often joke despite 14 years of caring for them, it's done nothing for the relationship.
Thankfully, Sean has a team of bird keepers who expertly handle every aspect of caring for the collection here. Among the 12-strong bird-keeping team is Kirsty.
Oh no! I can't work in these conditions.
Kirsty has been at the zoo for 6 years.
The first 2 years was with large mammals, so our zebra and our hippos and rhinos and antelope. And in the last 4 years, full-time with the birds. A few things to get used to with zookeeping. One of the main things is probably some of the smells you encounter, and looking after the insects is another thing. It takes some getting used to.
The brilliant birds housed here are among the animals whose diet consists largely of insects.
It's really important that we maintain high welfare for the insects because they are live feeds for the birds. So at the moment I'm actually just cleaning them out. So I'm removing all of their shelters and then we'll just get rid of all the old feed and all the fecal matter.
Every week, Edinburgh Zoo takes delivery of over 10,000 live insects, which provide essential protein and enrichment for the collection here.
I know a lot of people might not like the handling of insects, but insects are also really important for the environment. It's one of the biggest groups that we also have to look after, as well as our birds and our amphibians. So it's just part of the job looking after the insects as well. And they're little, so you don't need to worry about them too much. The occasional cricket bite is a bit nippy, but they're usually fine.
Another animal known to give a nasty nip is the rainbow lorikeet. Today, Liz, Sean and Kirsty are working with the zoo's flock of these brightly coloured birds. A member of the parrot family, they are found in the coastal states of eastern Australia. Unlike many of the birds here, they don't actually eat insects, preferring fruit, pollen and nectar. And they have a special brush-like tongue adapted for their particular diet. But recently, the group's eating habits have been causing concern, and 8 of them are being kept in isolation after their weight unexpectedly dropped.
Birds are generally more of a prey species and they hide their illnesses very, very well. So being a bird keeper, you do have to be specially trained in noticing because these changes in behaviour can be very, very subtle. So we do even know all of our individuals very, very well.
A rainbow lorikeet should weigh approximately 120 grams. As long as their weight has returned close to this mark, they'll be released back into the main exhibit.
We've been rehabbing them in this indoor area here, and hopefully they'll be looking a bit better. Fingers crossed.
But if their weight hasn't rebounded, it may signify a more serious problem. At the Highland Wildlife Park, there are some animals that are having no problem keeping their weight up. Wolverines are the largest member of the weasel family, and their well-deserved scientific name is gulo gulo, meaning glutton. Ferocious predators and expert scavengers, they can smell hibernating animals 6 metres under snow. And with specially adapted teeth, their molars are rotated by 90 degrees. They can tear meat from their prey even when it's frozen solid. Found in remote areas of Northern Europe, Asia and North America, the only predator is man, so their instinct is to avoid humans.
Every morning I do a bit of training with them, and this training is just getting them comfortable coming in and out of our kind of holding area and getting them comfortable with me as well.
14-year-old male Zale
hello.
is always first on the scene where there's food involved.
He's quite a confident Wolverine. He's quite used to people, and usually when I go in and out the enclosure he kind of follows me around and is curious about everything I'm doing. He's usually quite ginger in the summer, but he's going quite dark now as it gets to winter, so his coat kind of changes colour a little. Come on, Zale. Good boy.
8 months ago, Zale and his partner
Tina's the one that's just looking at us through there as well.
had 3 Wolverine kits, Floki, Bjorn and Ragnar, who are already fully grown.
You can't see so much just now because she's a bit wet, but she has beautiful kind of blonde and ginger markings down her side and a few nice ones on her chest as well. She has really got lovely markings, yeah. Good girl. It's all right. Good girl, Tina. Well done. Not sure if the others are going to come in today. They'll watch Mum a lot, but sometimes I've had a couple of them come in when I'm stood here, but they generally are a bit more wary. Good girl. Well done, Tina. Good girl.
The fearsome reputation Wolverines have, reinforced by a certain Hollywood action hero, isn't entirely deserved.
They've got a bit of a bad rep, but I actually thought before I started working with these guys, I thought, oh God, they're going to be really aggressive and quite scary. I thought we'd have to shut them in when we went in the outside enclosure and we couldn't go in with them. But I've realised they're totally different from that. They're really playful and they're a lot of fun, really. They're always curious of everything I'm doing.
For Sophia, this stint at the Highland Wildlife Park has been full of new encounters.
So I work at Edinburgh Zoo. So I've been there for about 3 years now. So I usually work with the chimpanzees and the squirrel monkeys and the capuchin monkeys. But a position came up here for a few months, so I was quite excited to come up, get a chance to work up here in the sister park and work with a few different animals up here. So it's been a great experience. I think the Wolverines are maybe the one that have surprised me the most. I've got kind of really attached to them while I've been here and really enjoyed working with them. So once I go back to Edinburgh, I think I'll really miss working with these guys, yeah.
In many ways, working here is like coming home for Sophia.
I've always loved the Highland Wildlife Park. I did a keeper for the day here experience when I was 18, and I knew then I kind of would like to be a zookeeper. It's sort of a career I was thinking about, and so I did that. I loved it, and then when I was at university I came and did an internship here. It's always been a park that I've kind of dreamed of working at, so as soon as that opportunity came up I grasped it, and so yeah, I hope maybe in the future I could eventually come kind of back up here and work back up in the Highlands. My family are from the Highlands as well, so it'd be nice to be a bit closer to home as well.
In Edinburgh, Sean, Kirsty and Liz need to catch the 8 lorikeets who've been in rehab. Before they're allowed to rejoin their friends in the main enclosure, they need to be reweighed, a job that none of the keepers look forward to because rainbow lorikeets have quite a reputation.
Protection. They bite really hard.
and getting them on the scales requires many skills.
There we go. Oh my word, you're raging.
Once netted, they're placed in a cloth bag,
Okay, there we go.
as there is no chance of them sitting still on the scales.
Sit still. 142.
Sorry, 142.
Yeah.
And getting them in the holding box requires nimble fingers.
Yep.
There we go.
With most of the birds weighing in at their optimum weight, it's good news for the birds, but bad news for Kirsty.
Oh, this bird is bad. Look what it's done to me. This is a bad one. If there's any blood on this bird, it's mine.
Would be the middle.
I know.
Wearing gloves is advisable, but not always practical.
We always recommend to wear gloves. I have only ever been bitten by a bird when I've had a glove on because I've not had a good enough grip. You do have that loss of dexterity, and especially with a small species. So I've stopped wearing gloves to catch most of them.
So she's increased by 10 grams.
handling it without. Look, you've already been bitten.
She's increased by 10 grams.
10 grams, okay.
Yeah.
Their feistiness is a sure sign that they're on the mend.
1, 4, 6. It does not want to go.
Escape plans are futile, but their bird brain tells them otherwise.
Oh, for goodness sake. You got her.
Isolating the rainbow lorikeets has, for the most part, been successful.
Everybody seems to have gone up in weight apart from 2 that we call the baldy pair because they overpreen each other. They're going to go back into the shed together just because they both haven't gained what we would expect them to have gained during the rehab.
But for the remaining 6, it's sweet freedom.
There you go. Oh, who was in there with that? Hey, perfect. They're very little birds, but they've got a good bite on them. And he just managed to grab me. They know the bits that hurt, and then they play on your weaknesses.
At the Highland Wildlife Park, Sophia is getting some enrichment devices ready for the wolverines.
We put all different sorts of enrichment in with our wolverines and they really enjoy it. Obviously in the wild their environment would be ever changing, so they'd be coming across new things in the wild, so it's like that. It's just something novel, something for them to hopefully play with and bite, and it's got some nuts and pellets inside and some pine cones, so it makes it a bit harder for them to just tip it right out. So they've got it's kind of like one of the toys you get for dogs where they've got to roll it around to get the treats out.
Wolverines are closely related to skunks and also have strong scent glands, so Sophia finds unusual ways to stimulate their olfactory senses, that is, their sense of smell.
Perfumes and different smells like spices and things like that. Wolverines quite like to interact with these smells because it's something new and fresh and exciting in their enclosure. Because in the wild, they will scent mark a lot of areas themselves. So it's really good to see their animals behaving in ways that you might see them in the wild. So this is one of the perfumes he likes. I'm not sure if it's men's one, it might attribute ISIS and it's autograph, so he likes this one. And just like if he smelled a female in the wild, he'd get quite excited. I think it stimulates that similar kind of behaviour. I mean, it makes me smell a bit better than I normally do when I'm at work.
Ensuring that everyone gets their share of food with such a dominant outgoing male is also a challenge.
So I'll maybe put this big rib on top of the house because Tina is better at climbing than him, so I know he probably won't get this bit and I want her to get it.
Zale can't climb as well as he once could, so Sophia is attempting to put this chunk of meat out of his reach.
And I'll maybe put this bit on the island. You there? All right, Zale. Tina's going to go up and get it now. This is probably the time I'm getting filmed out of Venture Falling. I'm always like, I'm going to follow him one day. He's not as good on his back legs. just because he's old. So just like us, as we get old, we get all sorts of joint problems. He's an old wolverine, so he's 14, and they usually live to about 15 or 16. And so he is at his kind of upper end of his lifespan.
Male retrieved, Zale does what any wild wolverine might do.
Oh, just hiding his meat somewhere maybe, before Tina finds it. And in the wild, they'll kind of put it all in different places so that through the year, and in the winter especially, they'll have food stocked up to keep them going through a heavy winter. Because they might have a few days where they don't catch other prey. So it's good to have these items stocked up ready for them when they are hungry and they need it.
It's not just their food that wolverines hide. So when cleaning up after them, Sophia is having to be extra inventive.
It's a pasta scoop, but they like to dig holes and poop in it and then cover it in grass. So it's easier to scoop it out like that. So that's why we have the pasta scoop.
And just when Sophia thinks she's ready to pack away the tools of her trade...
Go ahead.
Say, I'm up at Eagle House and I'm hearing clicking from the wolverine fence up at that corner. I don't know if you want to go and have a wee look.
Okay, I'll go have a look.
Yeah, you'll need to walk up past the other slide entrance and then just a wee bit further along.
Okay, I'll go have a look, thank you. I'll just see if there's anything on it that I can remove. It might be a dead frog or something. I get that a lot of the monkeys.
The clicking sound may mean there's something touching the fence, which, if it's not removed, could compromise the security of the animals. It hasn't taken Sophia long to find the offending item.
Smell this.
A large rotting bone, not one of Zale's best hiding places.
Can I put that in the bucket? Thank you.
But for Sophia, observing the animals and their individual quirks is all part of the joy of life as a keeper.
A lot of time wolverine can be well hidden, so chances of seeing them out in the wild is pretty slim. So it's great getting to work with such unusual animals in that way and learning about them. What are you looking at? You're curious. Oh, that's me done here now.